I think we can be able to see that is this PTF committee that is in charge of monitoring and controlling COVID-19. I don't think there is any researcher in that committee. I don't think there is anybody from the university which is a researcher in the subject matter in that committee. Going back to the neglect of the university system, had government faithfully implemented the 2013 MOU as enumerated earlier, Nigeria wouldn't have been caught off guard by COVID-19. We wouldn't be contemplating reopening of the universities now that COVID-19 data is declining, because we would have had enough classroom, laboratories, workshop, studio, hostel facilities to cater for social and physical distancing. Nigerian universities would have led the way in research to cope the pandemic, including the development of its management system, that is mechanical ventilators, aerosols, dispensers, disinfecting chambers, etc. At the risk of restating the obvious, we cannot make any meaningful progress as a nation until we learn to accord health and education the prime places they deserve in our national priorities. Ladies and gentlemen, from the above, our approach to the reopening of universities amidst COVID-19 had existed since 2013 with the 2013 FGN ASUU MOU. This had already been affirmed by the Minister of Education himself in 2017 when he started advocating for the state of emergency in education. With the way government is handling issues of funding universities, it will take us more than 10 years from now before government would put the necessary facilities to comply with the COVID-19 protocols as stipulated by World Health Organization, WHO, NCDC, PTF, and state COVID-19 control committees. Government in Nigeria seem to believe that the solution to COVID-19 pandemic do not exist in our universities. Conclusion. It is now clear to everybody that neither the struggle of ASUU nor COVID-19 protocols agree with the reopening of universities now. We must avert this impending disaster because it will be very disastrous if we go ahead and reopen universities the way we are now. The private universities that are blaming ASUU have cumulatively less than 5% of the entire student population in Nigerian universities. One of the state universities in this zone, when we were meeting with the Vice Chancellor, had asserted that their last year's admission alone was more than the entire population of all the students in private universities in this country. Above all, ASUU would not want to see any university taking undue advantage of students and their parents by asking them to pay thousands of naira for face masks, hand sanitizers, hand wash, as is done in secondary and primary schools exit classes that have reopened now. Because most of these, particularly private schools, you see parents paying as high as 5,000 naira per face mask of a child. So we don't want to see that ugly scenario in our universities. 5. Clearing call. ASUU Bauchi Zone calls on students, parents, civil society organizations, and general public to continue to understand and support it in this struggle by insisting that government lives up to its own national responsibility by honoring agreements, the MOUs and the MOS is signed with ASUU. We all have a moral responsibility to ensure that public education is not joked with in this country, Nigeria. ASUU still maintains that strike has always been the last option after a series of engagements with government without any fruitful results. Aluta continua, Victoria Asata. Thank you.